Get off my lawn. You ever wondered about the tattoos? This is the reason why. Welcome to my wife's Mistress. I built her.
This is Miss Mabel. This is a 1959 VW. She was produced in October of '59, which makes her a really late model '59, first start of the production years for the '60s. So there's some bits and pieces. If you're a car guy, there's no such thing as a one-year-only car. It doesn't happen. You get high production numbers on a high production run, they're going to use whatever they've got up on the pin. Let that go up to voicemail. So anyway, what we've got here is a 1959 VW ragtop Beetle. We've had this car, I personally had this car for almost 15 years. So I picked up this car way back in when I was still working white collar, and dinked around with it, and then I retired about 11 years ago and moved out here and opened up a shop. And this is what I've always wanted to do. It's like I've built dozens of cars before I've done this. So this is my passion. So I had the opportunity to go do what I wanted to do and get paid to do this. I'll make cool shit like this. I dragged this car around with me for probably 10 years. It sat in my garage for another 5. We had the opportunity for to build the car. We got invited to something called the Ultimate Build-Off in Las Vegas. It's October 1st through the 4th. And it's at Town Square Mall, right there on the Strip. There's 20 companies, or there's 20 builders. We have 3 basic rules. We can't spend any more than $20,000 on parts. It has to be an air-cooled VW when it left the factory. And that's about it. And you gotta have fun doing it. I forgot what the 3rd rule is. Oh, we have a year to build it. So we started this car in official production on probably November 1st, November 2nd of last year. So that involved taking it all the way down. So every bit, every bolt, every nut, every component has been removed, looked at, inspected, replaced if we need to replace it, fixed if we need to fix it. We've done upgrades throughout the way. You know, this car, you know, a little bit about the upgrades. You know, we've got a modern suspension on there. We've got front disc brakes. We've got one of our special rear end suspensions. We've got a little bit larger than powerful motor from the factory, so we can actually get up around town. The transmission's actually built to handle the car. So the car has actually been engineered to work and look gorgeous doing it. So anyway, the promoter had contacted me back in October and said, hey, you want to come do this? And I go, what is this? And he said, well, there's 10 of you guys. And I go, what do you mean there's 10 of us? He says, well, there's 10 shops that are in your class nationwide. I said, really? Who are they? And he listed off a couple of them. And the first two he listed off, one was a personal friend. The second one was actually a mentor and somebody I looked up to when I was a hobbyist. And I said, who was number 3 on the list? He said, you were. He says, in order to make this work, I have to have the top 10 shops at the show. Are you in? And it's like, yeah, we're in. So we got to drag this thing out to Vegas. The cool part is this is I get to build, you know, dreams and shit. When these cars leave here, they're brand new. So as you'll get shots in the car, it's flipping gorgeous. This is kinetic art, and when we design a car, we truly do design a car. One of the design philosophies we've got is if it catches your eye, it doesn't belong in the car. We want our stuff to flow from point A to point B, never interrupting your eye, never drawing your attention until you really start to look at it. We've got some really cool stuff on this car, and I might show you some of it, but I ain't going to show it all. Yeah. You know, there's 2 rules in life. Number 1 is don't tell them all your secrets. So we can go over the top, but we typically will fire those kind of clients. We've had a couple clients that have wanted to drop $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 with us per car, and we said no after we found out what he wanted to do, because it's not us, it's not our style. You know, I gave him, you know, here's 2 other builders, and I think 2 of them have TV shows. I'm sure they'd be happy to put a fish tank in the back of your car. No, we want to do it right. You know, our nut and bolt restoration, what we're known for is ground up quality restoration. We don't want 50 years when these cars go in for their next cycle. I don't want some guy like me go, what are these guys thinking?
So y'all's aesthetic is a little more refined. Very
refined, very refined. I don't want anything interrupting. And the parts that you do not see, the underneath sides of these cars, they're as gorgeous as the top of the cars. I mean, every nut, every bolt, every component. If you see anything on the car, everything on the inside looks like that. So, I mean, we take it to the nines.
Air-Cooled Customs in Hazel Green is one of a handful of Volkswagen restoration shops who've been invited to show their stuff and compete on the national stage. And WHNT News 19's David Wood shows you what they're working on to hopefully blow the competition away.
Here in the boneyard at Air-Cooled Customs, it's less like a place where beetles and buses come to die and more like where they come to be reborn. Whether it's sex and candy in ginger or a sleek red 73, Air-Cooled Customs handles it all, usually for their clientele. But after the invite to compete against the top 10 shops in the country at the Ultimate VW Build-Off in Las Vegas, they're taking some artistic liberties with the sultry Miss Mabel here.
I make cool stuff like this.
A vampy 59 Beetle ragtop with only 3 rules.
We can't spend any more than $20,000 on parts. It has to be an air-cooled VW when it left the factory. That's about it.
Well, and they have 1 year to build it and get her out to Vegas. The overall concept is classic with a modern twist, melding original, custom fabrication and computer-designed elements. The closer you look, the cooler she gets. The paint job does stuff my camera can't even show you. They started last November, taking Mabel all the way down.
So every bit, every bolt, every nut, every component.
And Mabel won't just be sleek and curvy with her modern suspension and engine. She's built to work.
And look gorgeous doing it.
Hopefully, Vegas judges will agree. In Hazel Green, David Wood, WHNT News 19.
Curves are good. For more behind-the-scenes photos of Miss Mabel's transformation on her way to Vegas, just click the air-cooled customs link on WHNT.com.
Guess what, folks? I'm going to introduce you to my wife's mistress that I've actually had longer than I've known my wife. This is Miss Mabel. This is a 1959 VW Type 1. She is a ragtop, but the ragtop actually came from a 58, and so I grafted the roof in. This is all lead work. There's no filler in this. This is all metal work. I have had this car for well over 20 years. I bought it when I was still in Arizona, and I dinked on it in the garage and played with it, and it sat next to puddles for many, many years as I played with cars. But I want to show you around here. We had built this car in 2015 for the Ultimate VW Build-Off, which is a show that no longer exists. Guy by the name of Telly out in Las Vegas ended up passing away a couple of years from COVID on Christmas Eve, and we really respect him and his family, and we appreciate that. But this car probably launched worldwide recognition for Air-Cooled Customs. This is my old company, no longer in existence. So I'm going to take you on a quick tour. So this is a classic black on red, but there's a lot of things in here. So we've got the swan neck mirrors, all of this, the trim, all of this kind of trim. This is all hydro dipped. So it's actually an image that we actually had made for us with our logos in it. So all of the skull logos that's part of the trademark were part of this. I did this on the handles, and these handles are actually 58. I had to rework them inside to make them work right. If you take a look inside, all this is custom interior. This is all leather, custom stitched, all done in-house. And you'll notice the red stuff. So it's like the red lights. We've got a custom go pedal that the eyes actually light up. It's kind of cool. And then we did go ground lighting. And then so, like, even the knobs are little skulls. And then if you look at that, that's actually the logo for Miss Mabel. And it lights up in red with the rest of the car because it's a red and black car. We got all the stitching on the back seats. We've got the custom pillows out back, which right now I have the battery off because I'm doing some maintenance on her. She is sporting one of my rear suspensions, and the front is a red 9 design. All of this has been inlaid with skulls that you're not going to pick up on camera, but it's a silver and black paint with the skulls with black over top of it, and then you'll see the hubcaps here. So we come back in here, we're in the LEDs in the back. This is just a beautiful car. She's had some problems. It's just a little 1600. I actually ran this motor in my single cab for many, many years. And then when I sold my single cab, I went ahead and pulled the motor. She looks like really fast, but she's not. It's only a 1.6 liter. So one of the things we had going on when we built this for the Ultimate Build-Off is we had this trailered out to Las Vegas, and a table ended up wearing into that. So I talked with a friend of mine over at Counts Customs, and he is the motorcycle guy. Shannon, thank you very much for the hookup. If you guys want to know who I'm talking about, and if you're not fans, Shannon's a motorcycle guy. I've known him for a couple decades. So he had his painter, Nick, come over and do this. And Nick was actually the guy who had trademarked the little magnetic stick-ons for these kind of things. But he did this all by hand in a parking lot. And when I got it back, we went ahead and cleared the fender again just to hold it in, because it's part of the car. Now, Miss Mabel has also been, it's been alleged that she shot a sheriff in the butt for him being a peeping Tom back in Decatur, Alabama. So I figured this was kind of fitting for Miss Mabel. The other thing we've got here is we have the extended reach for the pop-outs. These are from Loose Nuts shop. These are Randy designed, but these were, I think, number 002 or 003 of the Loose Nuts run after Randy died. On my 69, which we already showed you, I have one of the last sets of Randy's, and I have the stickers to prove it. So, kudos for me. So, if you guys like this car, like this type of content, please let us hit the like, subscribe. If you don't do it. I don't care. Just do the watch hours. I'm trying to get paid from this stuff. Wife's company, Trans Communications. Get back into here. It's all that custom work. All of this is paint work. So we have a red velvet interior for that. Custom shifter. Seats are original. We did everything from old school metalwork to 3D printed parts. So if you look in here, these are the daytime, what they call the city lights. And then we have a little bit of a red dot in there also, just to give it something. These are actually 3D printed, and these are custom made with our logo in them. And then all along the bumper, and I'm not going to be able to see it on camera, but all this has, there's probably about 140 skulls in this. We've got custom labeling for this. And this is a gremlin bell. So if you're not a motorcyclist, you won't know what that is. That basically, any gremlins that get up in your car from the road, they go to this bell and they drop out. So this is my wife's mistress. Should be getting her, she's on my list to get some stuff done, being that I've gotten most of the house stuff taken care of. I've got to redo the fuel system in here. She needs a new main fuel line. But I got to get the hood open because right now this is my hood cable. So it has come disattached from the latch. So I'm going to have to lift the car up and I have to figure a way to get into the front bonnet. So that's going to be a fun one. I ain't videoing that. So on the interior in here, just a couple neat things. Let me get that open. So I want to show you something here. Yes, she's got 0,000 miles, but she doesn't actually. She's only got probably about 140. These things, so this is your oil pressure gauge, and this is your cylinder head temperature gauge. These are actually made from 1959 Chinese or Japanese microphones. Really cool. They fit just perfectly. A little bit of modification, but all wipers here, secondaries there. The wipers actually do work if I can turn them off. There it goes. Those are off. Lights, hazards, but all this took me about 8 months to build. This was actually done by Roger. This steering wheel came out of a Triumph T36, and then we modified the mount to be able to do Volkswagen. But Miss Mabel's logo here, this is all done by hand, like hand painted horn button. I have the power off, so you have no horn. But this is Miss Mabel. I hope you really enjoyed her. I hope my wife will really enjoy driving her. I hope she doesn't get in an accident. Get off my lawn.